Welcome, everyone. Today, we're not doing a deep dive in the usual sense. Instead, we're going to just tell a story.
Yeah, a narrative shared online by someone, a Pantip user, actually.
Exactly. It's quite a story. It's interesting, definitely scary, pretty exciting in a chilling way, really.
And it unfolds just as the user experienced it. It's about almost buying a used car.
Right. A used car with a, let's just say, very hidden and tragic history. It's quite the cautionary tale.
It really is. And it highlights things you don't always think about when you're just looking at the price tag or the paint job.
Okay, so let's get into it. The person who shared this, they run a property assessment company.
Right, so their employees need to travel around quite a bit.
Yeah, they needed a used car for one of their team members. So one Saturday, early March 2021, the office is closed, and they do what most of us would do.
Hop online.
Exactly. Start scrolling, looking for used cars. And they find this listing for a 2011 car.
Okay, a specific model.
Yeah, a popular one, known for being pretty reliable, hold its value okay, easy to get parts for,
Makes sense. A practical choice.
The listed price was $119,000.
Wow, okay. For a 2011 model of a popular make, that sounds really low.
Yeah, too low, like almost suspiciously cheap. So naturally, they messaged the seller right away.
Asking about the price, I assume?
Yep, and the seller replies, says, oh, sorry, typo. The actual price was $190,000.
Ah, okay. Still, $190,000. How did that compare?
The user thought it was still pretty reasonable, compared to the market for that year and model, especially because the seller described it really well.
What did they say?
Claimed it was in original condition, never crashed, like 90% new paint, clean inside, and importantly, lightly used by a woman.
The classic lady-driven angle. Those descriptions, original condition, no crashes, they really aim to build trust. Did they show proof?
Yeah, they exchanged photos, pictures of the registration book, documents. Everything seemed standard, looked okay on the surface.
Okay, so far so good, despite the initial price typo.
Right. They chatted a bit, agreed to meet the next day, Sunday, March 7th at noon. The user planned to bring cash, thinking they could maybe negotiate down to around $160,000.
Ready to seal the deal if it checked out in person?
Exactly. So Sunday morning comes, they grab a taxi, pay the tollway fees, all that. Pretty committed at this point.
Understandable. Travel costs add up.
They get there about, 10 minutes early, and they see this big mango tree outside the place, just like the seller mentioned.
Okay, a landmark confirmed.
But then they look past the tree, and it wasn't a house.
Not a private residence.
No,
Even wrong.
not at all. It was clearly a car garage, like a business. Multiple cars parked around.
So the first sign that what was described isn't quite matching reality. A private seller versus a garage or dealer? It's a different vibe.
Totally. The user felt that little, pang of doubt.
Wow.
But they tried to rationalize it. Maybe the owner just left it there on consignment, trying to stay positive.
Okay, fair enough. Give them the benefit of the doubt for a moment.
So they're waiting. The seller themselves couldn't make it, apparently, and sent their brother instead. While waiting for the brother, the user starts looking the car over properly.
Good move. The inspection phase. This is crucial.
And right away, the car starts, telling a different story than the seller did. First thing, it had clearly been completely repainted.
The whole car, not just 90% original paint as claimed.
Nope, full repaint, which immediately contradicts the original condition claim.
That's a big one. A full repaint on a car like that often means it's hiding something more serious than a few scratches. Accident damage, usually.
My thoughts, exactly. Then they noticed the tires were pretty old, stamped 2017.
Okay, so maybe not driven much recently or just old tires. Adds to the picture, though.
And looking closer at the paint job, they could see paint had gotten onto the car's frame.
Suggests a thorough job, maybe trying to cover things up. And bolts. Did they check the bolt?
Yep. Bolts looked like they'd been moved. And the front driver's side door, it seemed like parts had been replaced and then painted over.
Right, so moved bolts, replaced parts, full repaint, that screaming major repair work, likely from a collision, not just lightly used.
Definitely. The car's physical condition was really starting to clash with the seller's story.
These are the warning signs experienced buyers look for, the little details that don't add up.
And while all this is happening, something else kind of unsettling occurred. The seller's brother had his young niece with him, a little girl.
Okay.
She was standing near the car while the user was inspecting it. And the user noticed her sort of slowly backing away, like edging away from the car, looking uneasy.
As if she saw something.
Yeah, that was the vibe. Like she saw something near the car, maybe in the car while the user was looking around. Then she just turned and ran back into the garage building.
That's creepy. Did the user think much of it then?
Well, they tried to brush it off. Maybe she's just shy, scared of strangers. Easy explanation.
Sure. But filed away in the back of the mind, perhaps, especially with the other inconsistencies.
Definitely adds to the overall weirdness. So the seller's brother finally comes over. The user asks, can we take it for a test drive?
Standard procedure. How did it drive?
Surprisingly well, actually. The user was impressed. It felt smooth, drove like new, accelerated nicely, steering was light. Mechanically, it seemed pretty solid.
Ah, the test drive trap. It runs well, so maybe the other stuff isn't so bad. Easy to get swayed.
Totally. You start thinking, okay, maybe I can overlook the paint. But then they were doing a U-turn. The user just glanced over the side mirror, quick check.
Yeah.
And they saw something. A dark shape, like the figure of a man, sitting in the back seat.
Whoa, just for a second.
Just a flash.
Yeah.
Gone instantly. But they saw it.
Okay, that's unnerving. How did they react?
Tried to rationalize it immediately. Was it the brother's shadow in the passenger seat? A weird reflection. Trick of the light.
The logical brain kicking in.
Right. But they felt it. That, prickle of unease. The hairs on their arms stood up. It was a definite what was that moment.
Even a fleeting glimpse like that, combined with the earlier oddities, can be really unsettling, hard to just shake off.
Yeah, exactly. So the test drive finishes. Despite that weird moment, the car drove well. The user is still thinking, okay, maybe make an offer. They decide to put a little gas in it before heading back to the garage.
Okay, a small courtesy, maybe solidifying their intent.
They pull into a gas station. Attendant comes over to fill the tank. And then he starts acting weird.
The gas station attendant, how so?
He kept looking into the back seat of the car.
Get in the back seat while pumping gas?
Yeah, he'd look in, then look away, smile sort of strangely, then look back into the back seat again, over and over.
That is bizarre. What did the user think was going on?
They were baffled. Like, is this guy okay? Is he high? It was just really suspicious behavior, focused specifically on the back seat area.
Okay, now that's external validation almost. Someone else is reacting strangely to that specific part of the car, not just the user's fleeting glimpse.
Right, it just adds another layer of, this is getting really strange. So they get back to the garage. The user, despite everything, is still kind of tempted by the price and the drive. They're thinking about offering $160,000 bond cash.
Still considering it, even after the weirdness?
Yeah. So they turn to the seller's brother, still sitting in the passenger seat, and they ask him straight up, look, can you do $160,000?
The moment of truth for the price.
The brother doesn't say anything. He just goes quiet, sits there, seemingly thinking it over.
Okay.
And then the user hears it. A voice. Cold. Male. Right in their ear.
A voice saying what?
It said, clear as anything, don't sell.
Whoa. Okay, chill. That's not a feeling or a glimpse. That's direct.
Absolutely terrifying. The user whips around, asks the brother, did you say something? The brother's just sitting there, silent, hadn't said a word.
Okay, now it's undeniable. Something is seriously wrong here.
The user is completely freaked out now.
Yeah.
Decides, okay, I need to get out of this car. They reach over, turn off the engine, turn off the AC. Everything goes quiet. As the car shuts down, the voice comes again from the back seat area. Louder this time. Don't sell. Don't sell.
Oh my God. Insistent.
Yeah, and the user just looks up instinctively into the rearview mirror.
And they saw.
The man, the figure they glimpsed earlier. Sitting clearly in the back seat, they saw him. And then, poof, vanished. Right before their eyes.
Vanished. Just like that, in broad daylight.
Gone. The user was just frozen for a second, utterly paralyzed by fear. Then adrenaline kicks in, grabbed the keys, fumbled the door open, scrambled out, slammed it shut.
I don't blame him.
Hurried over to the seller's brother, heart pounding, thinking, how is this possible? A ghost in the middle of the day.
That's moved way beyond subtle unease. That's a full-blown manifestation actively warning them off.
Totally. So completely shaken, the user needs a minute, tells the brother, I need more time, need to think. They step away from the car trying to process.
Understandable. They need to get some distance.
And as they're standing there, they get this really strong feeling, almost like another voice, but this time, like in their head.
An intuition.
Yeah, a strong urge telling them, check the car's history, check the registration, check the license plate. Specifically, the license plate.
Wow. Coming right after that intense experience. Like a direct instruction on what to do next.
Exactly. So they listen to that feeling, pull out their phone right there, and search the car's license plate number online.
And what did they find?
The truth. The search results pop up. And there's a major news headline from August 11th of the previous year.
A news report linked to that plate number.
Yes, a news report about a terrible fatal accident in Sarah Bury involving that specific car.
Oh no. Fatality.
Multiple. The report mentioned the driver of the car, just 22 years old, died and hit a motorcycle. 2 other people on the motorcycle also died. 3 fatalities total.
3 people died in an accident involving that car.
And the pictures in the news article, they show the car. It wasn't lightly used or in original condition. It was mangled. A total wreck.
So it was a heavily damaged car, just as the inspection suggested. A NUCO, as they say, salvaged, fixed up, and put back on the market without revealing its history.
Exactly. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. The full repaint, the moved bolts, the replaced door,
The little girl backing away,
the weird glimpse in the mirror,
the gas station attendant staring at the back seat.
the voice, the figure. It all made horrifying sense. That car had a deeply tragic past.
And it seems something connected to that past did not want it sold under false pretenses.
For sure. Seeing that news report, the user just knew. They went back to the brother, just said, "I'm not buying it," and left immediately.
Didn't even need to explain further at that point, I imagine.
Nope.
Huh?
And apparently right after they left, the actual seller, the brother's older sibling, called the user's phone 3 times in quick succession.
Trying to salvage the deal, probably wondering what happened.
The user didn't answer the calls. Instead, they just sent a message through the chat app. They sent the link to that news article and just added the text. 3 fatalities, brother.
Direct and undeniable. What did the seller do?
Nothing. They stopped calling, stopped messaging. Complete silence after that.
The truth had come out. Hard to argue with a news report detailing deaths linked to the car you're trying to sell as lightly used.
Reflecting back, the user felt, well, incredibly grateful.
I bet. Grateful they didn't buy it.
Grateful. And they truly believed that the spirit, maybe the soul of the young man who died driving that car, intervened, warned them.
Actively stopped them from being deceived and buying a vehicle with such a heavy history.
Yeah. They mentioned they practiced prayer and meditation regularly and wondered if maybe that made them more open, more receptive to seeing and hearing the warning signs.
It's a fascinating perspective. Whether you see it as spiritual intervention or extreme intuition triggered by subconscious cues, the outcome was the same. They were protected from a bad situation. The car carried more than just metal fatigue.
Absolutely. And this whole terrifying experience led them to share the story, mainly as a huge warning to other people looking for used cars.
A very practical warning, born from a chilling encounter.
Don't just trust the seller's words. Don't just rely on a quick look or even a test drive. You have to check the history. Dig deeper. Check the documents, yes, but also search online. Use the license plate, the VIN number.
Look for those news archives, police reports, if possible. Because sellers might not just hide dents or mechanical issues. They might hide tragedies, fatalities.
Exactly. The user is absolutely convinced if it hadn't been for that spectral warning, that voice, that figure, and the final urge to check the plate, they would have bought that car.
The price was tempting, it drove well, the usual factors were lining up.
Yeah. And they would have ended up with this car loaded with tragedy, unknowingly. And who knows what else might have happened, what other experiences they might have had.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it, that sometimes the biggest risks in a purchase aren't what you can see or touch. It's the unseen history, the secrets embedded within.
So that's the story. A chilling account of how a search for a used car turned into something much more profound and frightening. A warning from beyond, perhaps, that saved someone from a terrible mistake.
It really makes you think.
It certainly does. Well, thank you for tuning in to hear this story with us today. We hope you found it as compelling and maybe as unsettling as we did.
And remember those lessons if you're ever in the market for a used vehicle. Check everything.
Please do check out the Hoi Hei Horror Docs channel for more content like this. And if you enjoyed this story or found it useful, please do give us a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out.
Thanks again for listening.
Until next time, take care.